High FM, 101.9 megahertz of life.
Right, let's talk a little bit about Tu B'Av and about love. Wendy Lewis Hartman is a psychologist in private practice, and we were wondering a little bit earlier why it is that we say we love people with all of our hearts, when clearly we love them with our brains. Love is something we choose. We choose to love our partners, and we know that you could, you could fall in love very, very quickly. That's fine, but is that real love? I'm not sure. But let's speak to somebody who does know what it is that they are talking about. Wendy, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. I hope you are well.
Good morning, Howard. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm well, and you?
I am great, thank you. So it's so fascinating because we talk about somebody with a broken heart and loving somebody with all of my heart and heart sore. Why? How did this happen?
So it's interesting because, look, the brain, as you said earlier, is definitely the place where all your emotions begin. But there's not one specific area in the brain. It's kind of all certain systems are working together. For example, amygdala, prefrontal cortex, all different parts of the brain are working.
Right.
But the interesting part is the actual brain area that reacts to physical pain also reacts to emotional pain. So it is actually very similar in a way. Although it's emotional, it's not physical, but your brain does react and send messages through your nervous system that it actually is pain.
It's so interesting.
So it's real.
Yeah, so it is. It is that. I remember reading somewhere that this became, there was almost like a deliberate separation between your brain and your emotions, almost as though to pull your soul somewhere a bit different, so that there was this idea that human beings had a soul and had these feelings and that were separate to a very physical, anatomical part of them. Is that a psychological? I mean, I know that it was, there was this whole idea. It was theology as well. But is there a psychological reason that we separate the brain and the heart?
You know, it's so interesting. I think in ancient times, people did separate them. It was kind of, the heart does this, the brain does that. Although, I mean, the philosophers argued about it.
Yes.
But today, we definitely see it as one. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I might be wrong. Look, don't quote me, but Aristotle was one who was the
I think
heart
we are going to
person.
quote you, hey?
And Hippocrates was the one who felt things.
Right.
So I think those ancient times kind of, that's where we get the separation. But in today, we're very aware of the brain and the body. We are one. We can't separate that.
No.
For sure we can't. Because, I mean, today you go to different kinds of doctors and each one will talk about the brain and the body.
Yes.
And the body being the heart and the link to it.
Right.
I think it's very strong at the moment. That's how people are thinking.
Yes. Has it done, this idea of falling in love as though we have no control over it, that it's about heart, also implies that there's no cognitive control over what we feel. Now, we know that that's patently untrue, as you've just explained. So does that, in a way, do us damage because we almost become passive in our love, in the area of love, and we become, it removes perceived control. So I couldn't help it. I fell in love. That's what, give me your thoughts on that.
So it's interesting because I think that sometimes, look, there isn't that connection. It is definitely some people you enjoy more, in a time that you want to spend more time with them. You enjoy their company. And look, there is something about that, but love actually is about giving. So, they always say, why do parents love their children more? Because we always give in. We're giving to
Yes,
them and giving to
yes,
them. So it's
yes,
the same as a partner in a way, if you think
yes.
about it. A partner, you want to give them, you want to share things, you want to spend time with them. And the more you do that, the more we kind of physically get involved with them on a level of sharing things. And that's why the connection is deep. But
That's
there
so
is
interesting.
something about,
Mm,
yeah, you want to spend more time. They always say, I think it was one of the rabbis said,
yeah.
that if you really want to love someone, just keep giving them things, part of yourself, meaning, I don't know, whether it's a meal, whether sharing a movie with them or something, because you're sharing, and loving and giving is all very connected.
What are you seeing as the biggest challenge in your practice, or people that come that in your experience? What do you think the biggest challenge is today, or in modern relationships?
Well, I think there is a lot about, yeah, me, myself, I,
Mm, mm.
that kind of like, yeah, there's a
What
lot
that
of
person
that.
makes
I
me
think in
feel,
modern
and what, yeah,
society,
yeah.
yes,
Mm.
you know what I mean? It's all about sort of me. I do think in ancient times, sorry to keep speaking about ancient
No, it's
times, where
good.
people
It's
were more
interesting. Yeah,
community oriented,
yeah.
community orientated. Although today, I think, look, we are individuals, and I think by nature, it's all about how do I feel, how am I doing, as opposed to if I give part of me in a way, things will be much easier for me if I care about that person. And likewise in relationships, with couples, if they give each other unconditionally, that's the start to everything. To listen, to communicate, to be present.
Mm, mm. It's. Are you seeing? And in fact, we're going to be talking to a matchmaker a little bit later, in around about 10 minutes. But I'm just interested
Yes.
in some of the challenges that you perceive amongst people who haven't yet found partners. What do you think that is?
Well, I think people today are exposed to a lot that, through movies, through social media, about what love is, and, the whole romance, and it should be so perfect,
Mm.
etc., etc., as opposed to, at the end of the day, it's quite simple. In your home, you create a home. And so I think there's also a false idea about what romance and, what love really is.
Mm, mm. I'm actually just
Because
thinking, there was that famous scene. Makundi, we have to actually just find a YouTube clip of it. But it was from Fiddler on the Roof, where
yeah.
I think she asks him, Tuvia, I'm going to butcher it because I don't remember it properly, but I remember the idea when she says, like, Tuvia, like, do you love me? And like, basically, or no, he asks her, sorry, if he loves him, and and they go through this whole thing about what she's done for him and what they've been through together, and like, if that isn't love, then I'm not sure kind of what love is. Obviously, it's a bit negative in the way in which you deduce love, but love is really also simply about commitment through difficult times, being there for each other, and not necessarily what we see on Instagram.
Exactly. About giving and sharing and communicating. And commitment that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to work through even the hard times, the good times and the hard times.
Before we wrap up, what is one piece of advice that you would give couples about relationships?
I would say that to communicate is the most important. The love and all of that will certainly be there if you communicate about real things, what's happening. And I think that's the most important for me, is communication. to be able to be yourself, your true self.
Absolutely, absolutely, and not
Yeah.
just to be yourself, not lose yourself along the way, but just make sure that that you are giving. And I think that is a theme that is most definitely very powerful. Wendy Lewis Hartman, thank you, psychologist in private practice, talking to us about why we say we love you with all of our hearts. Where do emotions come from?